Hey there folks, I am the Mighty Plantain. Thanks for checking out this video. We are looking at a beer tonight from Smutlabs, which happens to be the more experimental division of Smutty Nose Brewing. This is Lady Stardust, a New England IPA. Oh boy. Between Sam Adams New England IPA, let's see, Bigelow, which is a local Maine brewery, has, I believe, Little Bigelow is their New England IPA. I could be wrong about the name of that. But anyway, between Sam Adams, local breweries, New England IPAs are becoming more and more prevalent, and they basically feature New England grown hops, which is pretty freaking cool, because I'm a big IPA fan, and I find that the New England IPAs, they tend to have a decent amount of ballsiness behind them. They're bold, they're flavorful, and they're delicious. So I'm really interested to see what Smutlabs has done with this Lady Stardust. I'm not seeing much else other than New England IPA. Now, 6.9% ABV. Okay, that's going to be pretty rugged. This was canned on March 1st of 2019. And it looks like Smutlabs is starting to use a mobile canning operation. I could be wrong about that, but usually when I see this standard aluminum can with a peel and stick label, it's usually an indication that the brewery is not doing their own canning, but that they're canning using this mobile canning operation. There's a bigger one in the New England area. There's a newer, smaller one. I don't know the name of either one of them, but they've got good cans. Nothing beats a good pair of cans. Anyway, the thing about beers in cans is that they do tend to pick up some of that metallic flavor from the can itself, but we've gotten a lot better with cans. There's a wax lining that goes into the process. There's the shape of the can. There's a couple of other factors that go into this that tend to reduce the amount of that metallic taste that gets into the beer pretty much to a zero. So I'm pretty sure Smutlabs, being a division of Smutty Nose, these guys know their shit, and they're not going to use inferior cans that are going to pick up that metallic taste, so I'm hoping that it's not in there. And I'm optimistic, very optimistic that it won't be. Now, I did wipe down the outside of the glass because there was a little bit of frost on there, and I like to see what the beer actually looks like. This is a hazy IPA with a nice yellow, a straw yellow color. Now, haziness is a little different from flocculent or having particulates floating in there. Now, it could be a result of very, very small particulates, or it can be a result of hop oils being in there. This is a very fine haziness, and with that straw yellow color, I'm going to go with this is hop oils that are making that beer hazy. Now, let's be 100% clear here. Haziness is not necessarily an indication of the quality of an IPA. A lot of people are under the false impression that all IPAs need to be hazy. In some breweries, Island Dog in particular, I talked to Jim, one of the founders of that brewery, and he said that his IPA, or their IPA, sorry, and the name of their flagship IPA escapes me right now, but it used to be clear, something you could see through, but because of market demand and people saying, why is your IPA not hazy, they made it hazy. So he caved to market pressure, which I understand. You got to give the people what they want, but I think a lot of people don't realize that haziness is not necessarily an indication of the quality of an IPA. You can have plenty of clear IPAs that are fucking delicious. Monkey Fist from Shipyard, local Maine brewery. Several examples from Sam Adams, including Rebel IPA, is nice and clear without a lot of haziness. It's a good IPA. There are a lot of good IPAs out there that are not hazy. So folks, just stop bitching about the haziness. And yes, it's a pleasant look to them, but it's not necessarily an indicator of the quality of an IPA, and it's not a requirement that your IPA be hazy. So leave the brewers alone. Let them do their thing, for crying out loud. Ooh, pardon. And don't pressure these guys that are putting a lot of thought and effort into their brews to make them hazy. Now, if you get a non-hazy IPA that's not good, be constructive and tell them, hey, this is what I didn't like about the beer, but don't base it solely on appearance. Anyway, I'm going to get off the soapbox because I could go on about that all night. But, let the brewers do their thing. And if you don't like a beer, tell them what you really don't like about it that matters in terms of the taste or the flavor or the overall experience. Don't talk about the look of the beer. The look of the beer is not that important. But this is a hazy IPA. So I'm guessing because of the lack of particulates that it is based on the hop oils being suspended in there versus any particulates being left in the bottom of the can or in the brew at all. I think I've said that 3 times already, so let's just look at the beer itself. I don't see a lot of bubbles coming up through, so it's not a very effervescent one, but it is holding the minute amount of head that I did manage to put on it, which means that it was effervescent to start. Kind of a neutral aroma. I'm getting maybe a hint of citrus. Maybe a little grassiness as well. Now, I seem to be mostly keyed towards pine and citrus, so it's no surprise that I'm picking up on the citrus, but the grassiness is new, or not new, but it's different for me. I don't tend to get the grassy or earthy notes or floral notes as much as I do pine and citrus, so I'm liking that grassiness. Little tiny hint of citrus and then maybe some fresh cut grass after that. Okay, here, like I said, I'm at the point in the evening where I am rambling about whatever beers I get in here because I've already had a few. It's got a nice medium mouthfeel. I'm getting earthy notes up front. Not necessarily getting any particular grainy notes. It's got a decent backbone. It's got some body to it. Like I said, nice medium mouthfeel. And there is some graininess to it, but I'm not getting any particular hints of like wheat or oat or anything like that. Just a nice overall graininess. Grassy, earthy. A little citrusy in the finish. It's a pretty solid IPA. Lady Stardust. I'm thinking maybe there's some thinking maybe Galaxy hops, because Lady Stardust Galaxy seems to come out, but I couldn't tell you what Galaxy hops taste like, even though I've had several rounds of Clown Shoes Galaxy IPA. Yeah, very smooth. Bit of crispness there. Quite refreshing. But yeah, just those earthy and grassy notes. Maybe a hint of citrus in the finish. This is a nice solid IPA. There's nothing in particular jumping out at me that's making me go wow or getting real excited about it. I mean, it's a good solid IPA, which there's something to be said for these days. And when every brewery has like 3 or 4 IPAs, a lot of breweries distilleries are going IPA heavy because that's the market demand. The problem being that everybody just wants an IPA. They don't necessarily want a well put together one or a well rounded one. There's again a soapbox that I've been up on multiple times. It's led to a market saturation of just mediocre or even crappy IPAs where it's hopped for the sake of hopping it and calling it an IPA. This is not one of those beers, by the way. This is really well rounded, really well put together. It's a decent, solid IPA. Again, there's just no wow factor for me. So I'm going to hit this with a 3.5 out of 5. Now, I've said this before on many videos, but bear in mind that on a scale of 1 to 5, 2.5 is average. So a 3.5 is a pretty respectable above average rating. It's just, again, not a woo type of reaction. But it's a good IPA. It's good beer. It's certainly disappearing fast enough. Given almost 7% ABV and the fact that I've had a few beers already tonight, it's probably disappearing a little faster than it should, but that's just a testament to how good it is. But that's just my opinion. Hit me up down in the comments and the email link down below. Love to hear what you have to say about this beer. While you're down there, make sure to like and share the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Till next time, folks, thanks for tuning in again. Cheers.